go. All right. I'm just checking to make sure we are live. We are. So welcome, Badass Nurses. I'm so excited for another Nurses Building Badass Businesses live series. This is really to give nurses insights to all of the opportunities that are out there. There's so many nurses who are serving in so many different amazing ways. And I really love to be able to showcase this to just kind of like show you how powerful nurses are and how much opportunity there is to serve beyond the traditional bedside role. So I'll just introduce myself real quick for all those who are new in here. My name is Janna Holterman. I am a nurse life and business coach. I really help nurses get clarity around who they are, what they want for themselves, and start that transition to build a business so that they can share their services in the highest capacity and really do something that aligns with them. So Jessica, why don't you introduce yourself and we'll get started.
Awesome. Hey guys. So my name is Jessica Smith dos Santos. I am a retired nurse, 17 years in my career, and I've been fully retired, like to the point where I even put my license in inactive status because I found a way. You can tell that I work from home. So I have been full-time retired for 2.5 years now. And I absolutely, actually almost 3. And what I found was that transitioning from the traditional bedside role to a role where I feel really freaking good about helping people again has made the entire difference to my personal quality of life.
Yes.
Yeah, I was super struggling before, and now transitioning into something that lights my soul on fire has lit my whole life on fire. It feels so I'm excited for this conversation.
Yeah, honestly, exactly like speaking into my soul and my mission and what I want to help nurses do. So love it. So why don't you start by kind of sharing your backstory and like what you did as a nurse and kind of that starting for those ideas of something bigger or serving in a different capacity and how that kind of transitioned to where you are now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure that the backstory is like a lot of nurses, right? Most of us get into nursing because we love helping people. And when I was young and looking at starting a career right out of high school, they're like, you love to help people. You should be a nurse. And I'm like, yes, nurses help people. I should be a nurse. And like, I'm not going to pretend like I hated my career because there was a long time in nursing where I loved what I did. I felt like I was making a genuine difference for the lives that I touched. And I had great satisfaction in what I did. But in the 17 years that I served, a couple of shifts happened. Number one, I became a mom. And my priorities were a little bit less career and a little bit more mom. And the second thing that happened was that healthcare really shifted. Our patients were getting sicker and sicker. Our communities less and less healthy. Our short staff more and more short. And then, of course, we transitioned from the traditional like paper charting to the EMR charting. Drawbacks and benefits to both systems, but I really felt like I lost the ability to like make a genuine connection with my patients. The way that they had the computer set up in the rooms, my back was turned to my patient. I'm like, I'm not even making eye contact with them anymore. And I just lost a deep sense of fulfillment. And I found myself getting more and more frustrated, wanting to go to work less and less, feeling sad about being at work, wanting to be home with my kids. And really for me, like that rock bottom point was I the last 8 years of my career were in the emergency room. So very high adrenaline, high stress environment. And it was to a point where like I was in my shower after work crying, drinking alcohol, eating chocolate till I was sick, just anything to numb that discomfort that I had inside of me. And throughout that process, I had always also gone through divorce. So I was 50% of time with my kids, not loving my career, feeling totally emotionally overwhelmed. And I remember a point looking at myself in the mirror thinking, is this it? Is this what I have to look forward to for the rest of my life? Because if it is, I don't know if it's worth it. And not like I was considering like not being here for the rest of my life, but really like it was that moment where I was like, this ain't it. It's not measuring up. This ain't it. And And it was a moment where I'm like, I'm not sure what is, but I know that this is not it.
100%.
And just being willing to admit that to myself, that's what really caused a foundation for me to be able to start exploring. If this isn't it, then what is?
Yeah, I love that. And I think that is something that I see over and over again in nurses that I talk to and my clients. It's that like, this isn't it. And for me, it was watching people retire after, 35 years of service and being like, there's no way in hell I could do this for another like 30 years. It's like this, like, I just can't. Like, it was like that terrible thought of me, like, no.
Yeah, for sure.
That was like, it was kind of like similar stuff that I was experiencing. And it was like multiple retirees who were at those 35-year marks. And I was like, no. But yeah. And that, like, I think that's such an important point where all like nurses who are looking to serve in a higher capacity get to, or it's like, I know that there's something else out there for me, but I don't know what it is yet. And I think that's almost a beautiful time because now we get to start like exploring. And I think that we have to be curious and just stay open. So what came up for you? Like, what were those next steps where you're like, oh, this is what's next for me? Did you try a few things, or were you did you find something that really worked for you?
So I knew at the core, I needed to get back to myself. I knew that the root, that gave me goosebumps. At the root of everything was that I had lost touch with who I was as a human, who I was as a mom, who I was as somebody that added value to somebody else's life, who I was as a partner, as a friend. And I knew that for me, the very first step of trying to figure out what was next was to have like my own homecoming, right? Getting support and coming back home to who I truly am, to reconnect with the dream, that I had when I was 17 years old. What kind of life do I want to create for myself? I had the ability to dream with a little bit more wisdom, a little bit more age, a little bit more context.
Yeah.
A little less adorable 17-year-old fantasy about what I wanted the next chapter of my life to look like. And so I ended up becoming a client of a coaching program. Okay. I got my health in order. And I thought, coaching, this is it. I want to do what they're doing for me, for other people. This feels amazing. And so I committed to a $30,000, 3-year-long coaching adventure that taught me about how to build a business and how to coach effectively and how to create programs and how to run QuickBooks and know things about taxes. Because, there's a lot of stuff that goes behind business. And what I found at the end of that adventure was I had an expensive hobby. I enjoyed learning, but I got a lot of information. I didn't get a lot of transformation, so to speak, in my own coaching business journey. And it wasn't paying the bills. It wasn't scaling. It wasn't serving people. And what I did know is that was the path for me. And I wasn't willing to give up, even though my $30,000 3-year commitment was done. And I think that's one of the benefits of us as nurses is that we have grit. We do hard things. Like just becoming a nurse on its own ain't for everybody. Right? And then to jump into the career. And so I started looking, like what do I need to shift? What needs to be different? I never gave up on that desire to create something different. And I discovered that I had taken the long, expensive path, right? I didn't need to invest that much time or that much money into learning to grow a business. And a business that serves people and generates income is all about the systems that you leverage. And so I found a coaching-led coaching system that allowed me to learn the business through apprentice style learning, where I got paid while I served people and I learned just what I needed when I needed it. And now that's what I get to do for others in business. It's the apprentice style learning. It's like, okay, you can fire hose all the information at me over 3 years and $30,000. But when it comes to putting work boots on that, you didn't talk about that, right? It's just like nursing school. Like, where was that in the book? Oh, nowhere.
Yeah, 100%. And that honestly, it's the action. because that is what ultimately where you're going to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and what are you going to do differently, and keep showing up. And I think that point about nurses having grit is so true, because in entrepreneurship, you're going to get rejected, you're going to get no's, you're going to fail in front of people. It's going to be embarrassing. You're going to do stupid things. You're going to post things that are not perfect. It's all part of business. And because nurses have literally, had things thrown at them, they've been sworn at, they've been told that they're like the worst things in the, we've all been through that as nurses, from patients who are going through their own things, right? So if you can literally survive in a profession that like you are being verbally abused by patients on a regular basis, being rejected by people on the internet, you're like, this is nothing.
It's the truth. Like you are, if I could speak one bit of truth into you, is that if there's any shred of you that's considering making a career change and you're thinking about business, don't second guess yourself. You already have what it takes, because you're willing to roll your sleeves up and do the hard thing. And when you fall flat in the dirt, you're willing to jump up and dust off and try again. And that really is the only secret to success in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Get your butt up and try again.
Over and over and over again. And it is that action. Yeah. And I think that's also something that happens with that, like you doing that 3-year program, is also education is safe for us. As nurses, it's like the safe zone. We've been highly educated. We're constantly told we need certifications and courses. We're constantly educating ourselves. So education becomes a safe zone. But in order to actually understand it, just like when you went through all 4 years of your bachelor's of nursing, and now you're in the, now you actually have a patient in front of you and you're like, what do I do? Because it's, you actually need to figure it out. You need to take action in order to truly understand it. It's the same for your business. It's less about educating yourself and it's more about that actually taking action. And I know we all want to get trapped in doing courses and things because that's what's safe for us, but it is that action and that consistent action and evaluation that's going to build that business. So I think that's such a valid point.
1,000,000%. I call that over educating your escape. Like if you know that nursing isn't for you anymore, but you want to know what is, our go-to is like, well, let me get another certification. Let me get another degree. Let me sign up for another $30,000 3-year thing. That was not what I needed. What I needed was one-on-one support to be put into action, exactly what I needed in real time, and get feedback. It's like starting an IV. Ain't no course or certification gonna help you get really good at starting IVs, right? You got to do it. You got to get the needle out and poke somebody. And it's the same in business. So if you're considering going that route, as you're looking at different programs and courses, consider, is it education heavy? Or do I have the support I need, like in the moment on the phone with a client, to get some feedback? Because if it doesn't have that apprenticeship style feedback, then be very cautious, because you may seriously be over educating your escape and wasting time and money. That's what I'm guilty, right?
I've also been there for you. I've also been there, and it's so, like it is that safe zone. And I love that, like over educating your escape, because that is literally what it is. We just, need to, get clarity about who we are and what we want, but then just go and take action. And really the only way you're going to find out what you do want is through trial and error. Yep. If you haven't tried anything else, how do you know? Yep. Yeah. So from building your business, from learning from your mistakes, what would be kind of your number one piece of advice for that nurse who is at that starting point, knowing that they want something different? They're ready to take action. What next? Like, what would you offer for them?
Yeah, I would say number one, get a mentor who encourages you to know yourself and build this next chapter designed around what matters most to you. Yeah. Because if you're not clear, like I was very clear that I wanted to be a mom. That was one of my number one drivers. I didn't want to get out of nursing to build an 80-hour-a-week business that had me plugging my kids into a television. That was not what I wanted to create. And being very clear on the fact that I wanted something that allowed me time flexibility to be a mama, that allowed me the financial abundance to support myself and then some, and that served my heart to create an impact for another life. Those
Mm.
were my 3 guiding principles. And so find that mentor that helps you pull out those principles for you and start building a business around what matters most to you. Because
Yeah.
again, that's probably part of what has you considering making a change, is because you're not living a life that's fulfilling. You're not doing things that matter the most to you, that set your soul on fire. And that creates burnout. So there's no point in jumping from a nursing job to a business that steals your soul. And it's that's probably the number one mistake, is thinking like, oh, I love helping people, I'm going to go build a business. And then you do all the wrong things and hire the wrong people and do the wrong courses, and like next thing you know, you're just as burned out. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it shows up in a different form. So I
Yeah,
would
100%.
get crystal clear on who you are, what kind of experience in this life that you want to have, and find something that helps you build a business around what matters most to you.
Yeah, I 100% resonate with that, and it is so true because there's so much out there that's pushing even just like hustling culture and things like that, and I am 100% against that. You
Nope.
need to take care of yourself first, and the amazing thing is when you take care of yourself, you actually have the energy, the capacity to create something that you're passionate about. And that is finding that business that is so authentically aligned to who you are, and it's
Yep.
unique for each one of us. And even if you're doing the same business as 100 other people, it's still unique to you. So you can't just cookie cutter take somebody else's method and plant it into your life. It's not going to work. It's really about figuring out what your priorities are. Your priorities are your kids. So being able to focus on the things that are most important to actually build a business and create income and then live your life. And that's like you do the things and then you live your life. And it
Yep.
is such a beautiful process. And there's so much extra fluff that like I feel like people tell you to focus on creating 8 million different things and posting 87 times a day and all this stuff. And it's like, honestly, none of that's important. It's really just figuring out who you are authentically are, why you're doing it, have that vision for that life that you want, and hold that in your like mind's eye every single day, and then just showing up authentically and sharing your truth, and
Yep.
people will come.
Yep. You know, to that point, I would say something else that's really important is don't let a mentor tell you, here's what you need to do, here's your checklist.
Yeah.
Find a mentor that asks you, how much time do you want to be investing in this business? How much time would you like to pour into it? What would you like to create? How much income? How many people would you like to serve? Because when you're clear on those things, then as a mentor, it's like you said, there's a million things that you could be doing in a business, but not all of them will make you money, and not all of them are high priority. So if
Yeah.
you have a mentor that asks you, what kind of impact do you want to make this month? How much income would bless your socks off? And how much time do you have available? They can tell you, number one, is the time you have available a match with what you want to create? And if it's not, they can straight up tell you, you either need to create a little less or you need to increase your time, right?
Yep.
But number two, with the time that you do have available, they should be giving you a list of the things that are most productive, because plugging into a training does not make you money. It is not productive. Going out and getting on a call with somebody and having your mentor on the other line and training you in the moment, doing it messy, that's productive. So that, I mean, to your point of like figuring out what's highest leverage, stop doing stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, I definitely fell into that. I was like working on my website, creating freebies, doing all that. Like none of that matters.
Totally. None of
None
it.
of that matters. You don't
Yep.
need any of that to start a
Nope.
business.
Nope. I
You
ended up
really just
shutting it
need
all
to,
down.
yeah, you just
Yep.
start talking to people, make offers to help them, see what happens.
That's literally, that's it. That's your entire marketing strategy. Go
Yeah.
make friends and find out how you can serve them. That's it.
I love that. All right. So as we kind of start to wrap up here, is there any kind of like final thoughts, final tips, anything you just like feel called to share today?
I would just say that you might fall into the trap of looking at Janna and I and being like, But they're special. They have sparkly eyes. They have the hair. They have the smile. They have the insert whatever your mind is making up here. And you're going to fall into that mindset of wanting to make yourself small. And your mind will tell you that you can't do it because you're pushing the safety zone. And I want to tell you that the only difference between where you're at and where Janna and I are now is that we've been willing to do it messy. We've fallen on our faces. We've collected a whole lot of no's. We've done a few things in completely disastrous ways and learned amazing lessons. But just know that there's no secret sauce. There's no special anything that you have to have. You already have exactly what it takes. And if there's anything in you that's saying, I want a different life, when would right now, this second, be the right time to take action towards that? Because the truth is, the only thing we will never get back is our time.
Yes.
We won't get it back. So if there's a part of you that's laying in bed at night being like, oh my, I just don't know if I can do this. Listen to that voice. You don't want to keep doing this. You already know that you've made a decision that you don't want to do this. And the only thing standing in your way of where you are currently and what you want to create is putting work boots on and taking the next step. So just like, let me breathe that belief into you, because if Janna and I can do it, then so can you. There's nothing special about us.
No. I love that. And it really is. It's that messy, imperfect action. And I always love to say, if you have the desire in your heart, it's meant for you. It's all it takes.
Amen.
All it takes. And it is so beautiful. And if you keep telling yourself, I don't know, all that means is I'm scared. That's your brain being like, I'm scared. You do know. You really, really do know. And you don't have to have steps 1 through 87 figured out. Just step 1.
Yep.
And then you put another foot in front of the other foot, one step at a time.
That's right. The question that I always go back to, because I do struggle sometimes with the like, I don't know, I'm not sure, I feel awkward, I don't really, I've been doing this full time and I still face that when I go to hit Facebook Live. I'm like, oh, my eyebrow, right? Like, we make up all sorts of things. But if you can just keep going back to, how can I? That is the one question that will open doors for you. How can I? Because when you seek solutions, you will find solutions. And if you keep saying, I don't know, if you did know, what would you say? Because the truth is, I don't know is a smokescreen, because you're not willing to say your truth out loud for whatever reason. So just get it out with and ask, how can I?
Yes, love that. Love that so much. Okay, Jessica. So how do people find you? How do they work with you? If somebody, wants to reach out to you, how do they go about all that? All that beautiful stuff.
All that beautiful stuff. So I am on Facebook, Jessica Smith dos Santos. It's pretty easy to find me. It's a really unique combination of last names. But also send me a text. I'm just going to straight up give you my number and tell you to text me, 775-830-4447. Does not cost money to talk to me. It's always free to explore if I can add some sort of value to your journey, whether what I do is for you or not. If I can help you explore that question, how can I, and get you pointed in the right direction, my door is always open for that, because my heart is for nurses and mamas. Those are the two demographics that really get my heart, because you have so much love inside of you. And I know that it fills your cup to serve others. And it's time to start filling that cup in a way that feels good and doesn't leave you empty.
Yes. I love that. And I think Susan asked for the phone number again. So why don't you just post it in the comments so that she can find it after?
Yep, you got it. I'll post it in the comments, and I'll post my link to my Facebook page. Messenger works as well. So you guys are amazing. I'm so grateful to you, Janna. Thank you for hosting this and for just showing people that there are so many options and they don't have to stay stuck in something that's killing them.
Yes, 100%. There's so many options, so many different combinations and things that you can do to serve in your unique, authentic, badass, highest capacity. And that's all I want for you. I love that. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciated it. These conversations are just so fun and eye-opening, and I really enjoy doing them. So looking forward to connecting with you more. All right, badasses. If you have any further questions, drop them in the comments below and we will get back to them. And you can connect more with Jessica with that. All right. Have a fantastic afternoon, and I will talk to you all again soon.